Okay, welcome on that presentation. My name is Michel Aguilera. We'll have the pleasure to present to you a global overview about some of the new upcoming technologies from Microsoft, Windows Server 2022, Windows 11 that has been announced, and the latest new service on cloud, PC on cloud called Windows 365. So these are the three topics that we'll cover during the morning in that session. The session is recorded, so it will be available on YouTube during the day. So in case of you've missed some of the elements during the presentation, you could be able to replay that. So just some words about myself. So I'm trainer and consultant in IT since 25 years, specialized in technology, especially on cloud computing, in Microsoft 365, Azure, and with a large background in infrastructure technologies as well. So just talking about myself, I've been able to do these trainings in 5 different languages. Today, I will do that in English, especially because it will be broadcasted to a large audience as well. So the agenda for today, 3 topics, as I said, Windows 11, Windows 365, and Windows Server 2022. That is really to give up here, let's say, a follow-up about what has been presented during the Ignite. It's really a general overview. We will some demos. We will see some of the topics, the more interesting I've saw during that during these different presentations online. And obviously, for the people who are joining us during the presentation, feel free to ask. You have the possibility to ask some questions during the chat. I will try to answer at the end of the presentation. So let's jump in right now with the first topic. I would like to mention Windows 11. So Windows 11 is the new upcoming operating system for the endpoints for desktops, laptops, tablets, for all that stuff we know today. So it will be the next generation coming after Windows 10. It's a logical evolution about what we've saw until today with Windows 10, and Windows 11 is just bringing that to another step, to new technology also in terms of integration, in terms of virtualization as well. So the idea is really to give up here a good idea about how it works. So first of all, let's see a small video about the introduction of Windows 11. Very nice videos there. They really improved the marketing, I guess. Okay, so Windows 11, what's changed really? So yeah, as you see, there is a different interface, a little bit slightly different menu approach, goodbye tiles, there is no more tiles in the screen. And we're still having that possibility to be with the day and dark mode in the display, so that will change automatically with the time settings. What we could also say here, as you've probably seen, is the fact we had today an experience about Windows 11 that will be very fast. It works very quickly, as you can see. Microsoft announced 30% of improvement in terms of speed in most of all the computers that are actually running Windows 10. So we're really talking about something that could be quite interesting to use. What we can see also is some transparency modes depending the theme we are using in the screen. So yeah, there is several themes available in Windows 11. We will see also there are some improvements with the widgets that can appear now on the left side of the screen. You've probably seen there is also a way to organize the different windows, clicking on a Windows pane where you have the three buttons on the right side of the window. You have to reduce, you have to resize, or to close it. In fact, if you maintain the mouse in the middle of the second button, then you will see you can rearrange your windows in a different way, on the different shapes, depending where you want to locate the most important things for you. Also, one thing that has been seen during the video very quickly is a native integration of Microsoft Teams inside Windows 11. So yeah, Microsoft Teams will become the main tool to communicate with everybody in private, but also with companies. So that means in a very near future, Skype, as we know on the public usage, will be replaced by a version of Microsoft Teams that could be able to be used in all the ways we already know today, Skype. So that is one of the main integration we will see there. Probably you also seen there is different other things that has been integrated, and one of the most interesting is the fact that we can manage the Windows 11 in different aspects regarding, of course, the usage of the applications. About that, let's see another video regarding applications. Yeah, one other thing we've seen is they reshape a little bit the window, having some around the border, something much more round, let's say much more funnier in the way they're presenting that. So this is the new concept they gave up to show the windows. Regarding Windows 11, there is some questions that have been raised, especially regarding the hardware needed for that. And it is one of the questions most of the people ask it, okay, what happens with the computers that are already using today Windows 10? Well, for these folks who are using Windows 10, no problem. All the computers should be able then to move on Windows 11. And in fact, today you can already use Windows 11 if you are enough brave to use let's say the developer mode. So you go inside the Insider functionalities inside your Windows 10, and you can download a copy of what we already had today in Windows 11. Still not yet complete, because there is still having some functionalities that are actually missing. So as you can see here, the specs are pretty simple, let's say like we get in Windows 10. Some slight changes regarding TPM in terms of protection. People says that could should add a lot of users, particularly those with home-built PCs. Not every motherboard comes with a TPM module on board. Okay, so certainly have motherboards needs to be upgraded with a TPM module so you can buy after the fact. So many systems that have TPM on board, but it comes to disable it. So you'll need to turn it on in your BIOS or your UEFI. So this kind of things you have to remember. It turns out also Microsoft will propose Windows 11 in two versions, one for Intel-based computers and other ARM version as well. So we will have both releases coming out in the same time. So this is really the idea. And one thing maybe that could be not blocking, but maybe could need to have some updates or in firmware or maybe in hardware is the GPU. The GPU needs to be compatible with DirectX 12. That means some of the cards with a driver update could do that, fine. Some others will need to do an upgrade physically to be able to work as it could, especially for the high demanded applications with graphics. Okay, so this is not obviously for everybody, so the gamers will feel maybe some restrictions about that, but most of the people who are working in offices or working with standard applications will find something here really useful to know about how to upgrade the hardware you have today. Some other points here. We could resume the Windows 11 in 3 key changes. The first is cloud-oriented, and this is maybe the thing some people will not really like it. I will explain you why when we'll do the demo about the setup of Windows 11. Microsoft Store optimized. Probably you heard in the press and in some other specialized magazines. We have a lot of different stores for applications today. The two most common are Google Play and the App Store from iOS from Apple, right? Both of these folks are taking some commissions regarding the fact, as an editor, I would like to sell my software on these stores. And Microsoft announced during the launch of Windows 11, there is no fees at all, zero cost. So even if you are not a huge reseller, if you're not someone who's doing a lot of business today, but you have software you want to distribute in a very elegant way, Microsoft Store will be available for everyone who's some software to distribute, and it will be without any cost. How much time that will be? Wait and see. But at least this is, let's say, a good point to announce there. As you see in the new UI design, so now the menu is not anymore on the left, but on the middle. But if that is too disturbing for you, no problem. You can put the bar again back on the left if you want. So there is not a huge change for that. What I should say in the UI is, yeah, we've definitely leave the tile menu back to the Windows 10 and the previous versions of Windows, and we still having today a menu much more, let's say, oriented, much more intelligent, and more oriented as well in the way you are using your applications. Talking about applications, probably you've seen there is something really new. Using Android. Yeah, now we can have the possibility to run mobile applications in Windows 11. So that means we could start APK's installation, these applications coming from Android, and run it and install it right inside your Windows 10. Windows 11, sorry, without any other operations. We will have an integration inside the Microsoft Store that can help you to find out these applications you already had in Android. So on Windows 10, you had to plug your Android phone and you could stream the display of your phone right on your screen in Windows 10. Now, instead of having your computer linked to the phone, you could have directly your applications running in the computer. Even if your phone is away, there is no problem at all. So this is really a huge change. That feature will start first with the store coming from Amazon. So we will have the Amazon store with Android applications, but that doesn't mean you cannot run third party from other stores like Google Play. So if you have the APK software, you can run it directly on your Windows 11. This is one of the main change we will have in the very near future. As you can see, also as a big advantage here is the people who are administrating a lot of computers, having a complete enterprise environment. If you are using Intune, well, today the right name is Endpoint Manager. With that, you can push your software on all the computers, and specifically not only Windows applications, but also Android applications on Windows 11 computers. So this is one of the biggest changes we got here. And I'd like to show you another video just talking about that. can see some changes there. That is quite interesting. Yeah, copy paste between mobile applications and legacy applications from Windows. So these kind of nice, interesting things that will be coming in the future release of Windows 11. So these are, let's say, in a way, the big changes, the big improvements we've got inside the new Windows 11. What should I say as well regarding Windows 11 is the fact there is no huge changes in terms of kernel or in terms of services behind. You will see some slight new improvements, especially for the people who are interested to make it run Linux inside Windows 11. So what we call the Windows subsystem for Linux will be also improved in the next release of Windows 11. So that can help us as well to understand what will be the mechanisms we have behind to make run these APKs inside Windows 11 as well. So that was my introduction regarding Windows 11. As you can see, well, there is really a good resume about that. But I would like them to show you some of the steps regarding the installation. For the people who's already seen Windows 10 installation, that's quite the same. Some new changes inside the out-of-box experience. So let me just show you that. So here we are with a screen. So sometimes I saw that comes a little blurry, but let me show you that maybe in another way, because that could come. Sometimes the video is not working fine. So I will do that in another way. Let's just give that back. And I will share my screen so you can see the installation. In fact, the first steps about the installation of Windows 11 are practically the same as what we already got with Windows 7, with Windows 10, and so on. So there is no huge improvements there. What is really changing, by the way, is the out-of-box experience, as I said. This is something where we will see something quite different. So let me just start that here. All right, and sharing my screen. It should help a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Here we are. So when you start the first time here, the installation of Windows 11, as you can see, it's really the same thing as we already got into Windows 10. There is no huge changes. Absolutely the same thing as already we got on the past. Let me accelerate that a little bit more. So here we go. We have the different releases about Windows 11. Nothing new under the sun here with the standard and N releases. Okay. So here we go. First reboot after the installation. I'm trying to do that quicker as well. So here you can see the setup is really the same. What I've seen is a little bit faster as what we've got on the past. So it's working a little bit better in that term. So you can see here, just taking a moment, and we will see the out-of-box experience that has been revamped completely by Microsoft. So there is this new, some nice sounds as you can hear. And here we have this logo coming here. And we started having a first check about the internet connection. So this is something really important for the people who are deploying for the first time Windows 11. No matter if you are doing an in-place upgrade, so directly on the Windows 10, so over Windows 10, or if you are downloading a full new copy of Windows 11, you will need during the setup process to have a full access to internet. So be sure your computer is connected with Wi-Fi or cable or whatever, but you must be on internet connected. So this is one of the things that will be required. Okay, so here we place the keyboards. As you can see, we have a new slightly different interface. Looks nice with these round corners on the border of the window. So I'm putting my own settings here from my computer as well. So I've just made here screenshots about how it looks like. So as you see, checking the updates, it is the first thing you will do. And there it becomes maybe the point where people will be upset is we need to have an account in Microsoft or a Microsoft ID for private usage or having a Microsoft 365 and Azure ID connected account. So here we'll use my private account to be able to add the computer inside my organization. I could use second factor authentication here, for example, with Microsoft Authenticator. So it will directly be requested from my phone directly. I put the code and then it could go on the next step, creating a PIN for Windows Hello for the people who are using Windows Hello. So if you don't have face recognition or fingerprint reader, then you will use a PIN to protect, in fact, what are your own credentials in the computer. All right. So here we go. So yes, this is maybe one of the, I want to say it's something sad, but could be mad, by the way. But yeah, you need to have an account. So after that, you can restore from a copy we have on OneDrive, or we can directly start as a new computer. Then you can define the privacy, location, information about diagnostics you could send to Microsoft. If you want to use the hiking and typing recognition, and we have that tailoring about the advertisement. There is another thing that will come here is what kind of applications inbuilt you want inside your experience. So you can choose which one you want. If you don't want anything, you will have a Windows 11 with just the operating system, and that's it. If you want other things like special applications that comes with this categorization we've seen, that has been installed and will be downloaded automatically. We can have an automatic configuration for OneDrive directly inside Windows 11 experience. So they will take, of course, the account you just provisioned before, and then it will move to the next step, offering to you the possibility to, hey, you can use as well Microsoft 365. You have a pricing for that. Well, as you know, doing some advertisement about it. Then we go to the next step. So taking all these informations and putting them to build up what should be your first profile in the computer. Takes a bit of time, so almost there. And voila, as we said, here we have our Windows 11 installed. I want to show you some of the changes we've got since the first release has been presented and what we've got today. There is some slight changes inside the interface, not big stuff. Well, Cortana still not being available in Switzerland. That makes me cry every time. But anyway, so we have this window with widgets that come from the left. You can personalize that with your own information. You can give here also the possibility to pin new widget depending on your interests. Okay, MultiDesktop still being there, so you can organize your desktops depending on the kind of activities, exactly as what we've got inside Windows 10. And we have the Get Started that can help you to understand what are the main stuff that has been improved. Some icons also in the File Explorer that has been changed just to be able to recognize easily what are the folders where we want to put some informations. Use Android phone from your PC. That was already what we've got also in Windows 10. And then it says all set. So normally we should be able then to open the tips. And here, for the people who never touch Windows 10 or Windows 11, obviously, you have all the information about the tips and tricks how to use properly your Windows computer. By the way, every time you've got an update of Windows, as we've got with the same circle orientation every 6 months, you will get the possibility to have this information updated. Here, as you can see, we have the Office icon. So this is Office Online. So because I used a private account, I can use Office Online for free, and it's directly pinned inside my menu bar here. And the good thing is, using my Edge navigator, I can synchronize all the information as well. I can use some of these applications like responsive app, meaning web applications, right? So for the people who doesn't want to spend money, here you go. You can have your Word directly online. That means it's not installed on your computer. You need to have internet access. Obviously, if you have already other content that are built up with Office, you could see there is an automatic recognition about that, and we can use them automatically. So here I was with the very first release that has been made about Windows 11. Okay, so we can also configure some of the options regarding the updates and the menus and things like that. So this is one of the things I will do just once. Of course, for the people who are automating the process to deploy Windows 11, all these steps could be added inside what we call an automatic response file, also what we've got from Windows 10 as well. So this is something really easy to build up. Again, some advertisement, they're offering 50% on the first year of your usage of Microsoft 365. All done, wonderful. So let's go down, and I will just start with the update. So Microsoft has made some changes, not big changes, not big improvements, but every time we've got it, there will come some new things that will be used here inside Windows 11. So I think this could be great. Most of you to see what's going on, and we will see here. This is my launch screen, practically the same as what we've got in Windows 10, right? So here I download the Insider Preview. We have already a new version, so I'm installing that, putting my PIN code here, and I will do the restart. Okay, restarting that, boom, and look now my logging screen. There is the new logging screen from Windows 11, guys. Putting my PIN back, voila. Well, what a change. Just some new policy with the new typing policy here. What we've got as well is a slight change in another place, which is the Microsoft Store. So if you go on the Microsoft Store, you will see there is also some changes regarding the fact now using Microsoft Store now become a little bit different because the organization is look like a little bit different. Let me share my home computer now because I'm actually based in Windows 11, so I could quickly show you that. So here we go again, sharing my screen. Here you have my Windows screen. So as you can see, I'm with Windows 11. And just starting here with the Microsoft Store, there is some changes that has been made. So as you can see here, I go to Microsoft Store, and the look and feel of Microsoft Store has been a little bit different, simply because here we will have some of the views that will integrate in the future here on the left pane, the access to the Android applications. If you are registered to Amazon Store, you could see here then an integration with the same classification. And on your own library of applications, you will be able then to manage the updates and seeing how it works, how the thing you could have from Windows, legacy applications and mobile applications as well. So this will be the kind of changes we could get in the future regarding Windows 11. So pretty nice, right? I think this kind of stuff could be interesting to watch how it will go. The Android integration is not yet there. That should become one of the next Insider Preview updates. And this is what we are supposed to see, let's say, in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so it's something appearing that's coming next very soon. So that was my introduction regarding Windows 11. And now let's talk about another operating system, Windows Server 2022. I teach many times Windows Server courses, and often people are asking me, why do we still using this kind of code names? Because, well, Windows Server are practically no changes at all in the last couple of years. In fact, it's true. If we are comparing Windows 2016 to what we've got today, we have to be honest. The changes are not been so huge, so important. But just for your information here. So here we can see the ongoing commitment for Windows Server. Mentioned on the second half of that year, we should have the global availability of the new operating system. And just for your reminder as well, normally Windows 11 and Windows 2022 should come in the same timeout. So means in the next couple of weeks, between September and October, we should see global availability for this new operating system. Crossing fingers, if everything goes fine in that roadmap, as we saw, sometimes they could have slightly delays regarding that, okay? So what else could I see about that release is there are 10 big new improvements regarding Windows 2022. Hybrid cloud, yeah. This is something we already saw from 2016, starting to have this Azure integration, having more things that are actually used in both sides. Okay, for example, having hybrid usage for the backup. That was one of the first things we saw, even in 2012 or 2, we've seen the possibility to do backups of our servers directly in Azure, right? Now we have some other things that are coming in the hybrid cloud. We will see that in a minute. Hyper-V Manager, some improvements here. Why? Because the point number 3, containerization. Yeah, the idea is to be able to use containerization with Windows Nano. For the people who doesn't heard about Nano, it's just a very lightweight Windows Server versions, no interface. It's not the same as Windows Core Edition. It's even lighter. Okay, so it's something less of 1 gigabyte space. So it's really small and really interesting for microservices or dedicated applications that will be running, for example, across the web. So really having a very small footprint and having just what you could need to make it run an application. That is the idea. And all that stuff will be managed in Hyper-V Manager, right? We have also a very good integration with Kubernetes. It is one of the things also that could be managed then. We will see that in a moment with something completely different in terms of administration. The operating system itself doesn't change a lot, but we have some add-ons that has been released that helps a lot in terms of experience. Secured core technology. This is something interesting because now we can create sandboxes to isolate some of the processes we've got and protect the kernel itself against this kind of threats we could have, for example. So this is really in the security level where we improved a lot Windows Server, especially also on the virtual network isolation. This kind of stuff now can work much better. Performance monitoring. How the monitoring works, stay in mind, okay? Stay focusing monitoring, how we could monitor our servers. This is something where Microsoft says, okay, hybrid approach could help a lot if you have on-prem or Azure-based machines or whatever in the cloud, okay? So there are some of the mechanisms here that has been improved in that approach. Storage migration. We've got some nice stuff regarding the consolidation of storage with Windows 19 for the people who are doing hyperconvergence and having different dedicated storage that could be grouped and then building up a pool of storage that could be used no matter what kind of technologies we are behind, and improving a lot the speed of how we could migrate LANs between servers, right? One of the things that has been also placed here as a big improvement is the file storage migration. That is one of the things we've got with 2019. And with some slight changes in terms of SMB protocol usage. This is one of the things I will show you later on this demo as well. So disaster recovery, yeah, we also improve the speed to do disaster recovery, failback, and failover. Special protection level, yeah, dedicated on the process you could get running on your Windows Server 2022. Which is slightly the same as what we can get, for example, in Windows 10 in terms of protection. So we see here some advanced threat protection features, not the same as we could get with a complete ATP, of course, but becomes more and more interesting to have that dedicated directly embedded inside the operating system. And native Edge browser integration. Yahoo! But don't be so proud, because if you're still typing IE, yeah, still on the back, still being there, but not anymore shown inside the operating system. So that means today the default browser is Edge inside Windows Server 2022, okay? So we have advanced multi-layer security. This is one of the things we can get, so protecting from the kernel to the file-based system. Upgrade capabilities with Azure, as I've mentioned, and flexible application platform. This is one of the things I really appreciated is for the people who are using IIS as a web server, probably, you can get what we call application platform management. And in that menu, what you can bring is the fact you could easily pin up applications inside your IIS with a single click. So all the configuration, painful points are, let's say, made more easy to do because the application is directly and properly stored inside your IIS with the right settings. And you have some support behind that to help you to maintain this different applications level inside your web browser and your web server as well. So these things are, of course, slightly also pushed over with Windows 2022. For the people who are using SQL, as you know, SQL 2022 will be also released in the same time of server. And there is some changes. So first of all, for the people who are using very large Azure stack, for example, then you could go over 48 terabytes of RAM. I even don't try to imagine how you could put so much RAM in a computer, but anyway, 64 socket, meaning 2048 logical processors that could be used on a SQL server, or obviously that could be on a cluster. And confidential computing, meaning you could have isolation on your SQL processes and protect them to the rest of all the processes inside the box. So let's say having SQL servers in a sandbox and dedicated that to splitting the different instances in the same server, in the same operating system. So it's like very isolating that without to build up every time new instances of virtual machines, but having that directly from the kernel. So that becomes more proactive at that point, okay? New secure connectivity on the transport layer. We will see that now. Secure DNS that has been already here on Windows 19 in 2022. That has been also improvement. And one of the most interesting thing is SMB hardening. Why I say that? Simply because I guess this is something we will see not only in Windows Server 22, but probably in the new technologies and new dedicated appliances in the future as well. I'll explain you why. Simply because we have today these integrations with SMB3, and SMB3 has been one of the major improvements we've got from Windows 19. But there was some of the things we've not put there properly, and one of the things was how we could secure the layering with using SMB3. So you will see on the file system, that brings to us a lot of different changes. Now talking about how we administer Windows servers, I have to talk about Windows Admin Center. So Windows Admin Center is one of these products Microsoft releases a little bit more than 2 years ago. And what I really enjoy with that is web-based administration. Okay, for the folks who are working in Linux, nothing new under the sun. We've got webmin from a long time ago. What is so different with what we've got here in Microsoft? Well, I should say the main point is we can get a lot of improvement in the way we can administrate our servers. Let's think about the people who are deploying core editions. Why do we deploy core editions of servers? Well, simply because we want to have less consuming in our resources. All right, so meaning we do everything with PowerShell, remote PowerShell, right? I saw many times not everybody are really PowerShell friendly, okay? You should have PowerShell as a second native language in your work, but that's not the case to a lot of people. So Microsoft built up for free, I should insist for free, you can download it, a Windows Admin Center that could be installed over a machine and then helps you to manage all your different elements. That could be Windows endpoint computers, so Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7, even if you want, or your Windows servers, no matter if they are on-prem or in Azure. And the good point is here that console is really bringing you interactivity in a hybrid mode, so you can deal and manage your stuff no matter if you are on-prem or in Azure. So you can even manage some resources directly in Azure. So this is really one of the interesting things. The other thing is physical integrations with physical appliances. So that means some builders like NetApp offers APIs where you can directly manage these physical components like the controllers or how to build up volumes and LANs for your servers, for the storage stuff, migrating the things from one location to another, representing the LANs to different hosts. All these different things are directly embedded inside what we call WAC, Windows Admin Center. Yeah. So this is exactly what we can get. One of the other major changes we've got here, as I said, is the SMB. And we have the file share administration in WAC size 29, so pretty good. SMB compression from 20H2 in Windows 19. And with 2022, what other changes? SMB over Quick. For the people who don't understand what Quick is, Quick UDP internet connection. Wow. So yeah, normally in the past we was using TCP 445, the port 445, and now we will move to SMB over UDP. What that change? What is the main interest in that? Well, to be able to show you that, let me done a small demo about the storage improvement we've got here. I will just to show you now in a moment what looks like this admin center and what kind of operations we can do, as well how we could improve drastically the speed we could have with our Windows server in terms of file transport and things like that. So let me just start having my slideware here working properly because I'm sharing my screen in some cases. Okay, stopping the presentation here and sharing my screen. Voila, perfect. So here you can see we've got the Windows Admin Center, and we have an option called Files and File Sharing. So here you can see from the server where I'm accurately connected, all the File Explorer and the file share. And it's really easy to build up some different kind of shares with offline possibilities, saying if we could have, here you can have see our column called SMB encryption. Nothing regarding about what we already see with BitLocker. It's really the possibility to hardening the protocol, and people who need to be having access to these shares needs to be with the right certificate. Otherwise, they should not be able to have access on that. So we have several layers of security regarding, first of all, when we create a new share. This is exactly what we see here on the screen. Normally, all these operations are made most of the time using PowerShell, or if you have a GUI, you will do that directly on the box. It takes a lot of time and not easy to automate. So using Active Directory or local administration. So here I could directly do a research on groups and say, okay, I will give permissions to one group with one sentence, and we have that search that is really speedy and bringing that here. Then I go and should change the kind of control, kind of permissions I could give here. Offline, yes or no. And if I go on advanced, here I could use to have SMB encryption. So I could have this possibility to encrypt what happens on the SMB as well. So this is part of the new policies we could get inside Windows Server 2022. So here I have my share is available, and then I could directly work on that and present that as well. So here I could also force connections using SMB3 client compatible like Windows 10. SMB3 is already existing in Windows 10 natively, so you don't need to do any changes. And if you are a member of a domain, like we've seen here, some of these changes regarding certificates will be pushed automatically to your computers as well to be able to have access to these SMB3s. One of the things I would like to see here is the file transfer optimization. So here I'm just jumping here to doing a 10 gigabyte file transfer across a standard gigabit link on my network. So you can see transfer without any compression. As you can see, processor was pretty high. My Ethernet traffic was also going up. Okay, I'm doing some time lapse here to accelerate the time needed to do the transfer at 100%. Okay, here we go. Taking his time. Boom, here we go. So the time needed was about 2 minutes. 2 minutes and a little bit more of 2 minutes to do the transfer. Okay, so let's now delete that file I've just transferred it, and I will do the same but using the compression, the quick option. So here, if I use my robocopy as I've done before, I just had here a slash compress, and check it out how it will be really improved. You see, there is no time lapse. Look at the speed. Look about the CPU, nothing. Look about the traffic on Ethernet. We are using the full traffic. We don't see anything special here. But look about the time we needed to do the same kind of transfer inside a file share. That's quite amazing because without time lapse, it's really real-time transfer we can see here. Right? Boom. 23 seconds. What takes us before more than 2 minutes, then in 23 seconds, we've done the transfer. There is another thing there also as well with Quick was quite interesting is when we are redirecting blob storage from the cloud. Normally, this is what we've got when we put the FQDN. So you have to put out here your credentials. And normally, it should be presenting. So we are doing a full of routing operations. And to be honest, most of the time, what happens here, we are stuck with the credentials or the permissions that could come from Azure. So here, we could have issues about external accesses, right? If we start here using QEC that is encrypted and using the same operations, as you will see, there is slight changes, a little bit different. So we have the Wireshark that will show us. So we have still using an access here. And as you can see, I put my credentials, I'm connecting a drive, and boom, Wireshark is showing us behind that we have in UDP. And here we have access to that file, to that blob storage I provisioned for my computer, right? And it's seen like a standard volume, all right? And here you can see everything is encrypted. So we cannot see and we cannot be able to trace what are the content. It's fully protected. So we can easily have storage, external storage to have the possibilities we could get inside Windows Server, but having at least natively an encryption and a protection inside of our file system. So it's pretty great to see these things here working. And again, at no cost. So that will be one of these things we could get for Windows Server 2022. I guess this is one of the most interesting features I saw during the launch of Windows Server 2022. Probably some people will ask, okay, what's the point? What will be the really interesting point here? Why do we move to that? And this is precisely maybe the thing where there is no huge improvements except that, simply because we are increasing some of the things and we have that administrative part with Windows Admin Center. From that point as well, I should say the installation, the setup of the server itself is not a big deal. So like that. It's not a big deal. There is not a big changes as well. There is no big improvement regarding how we install a server. Yeah, they just so slight changes. The question that comes often is, why should we do an update? Why should we go to do an installation of Windows Server 2022? And often the answer I could give here is simply because, well, folks, because you have Microsoft support. You have some slight improvement in terms of security, which is today for on-prem infrastructure a huge challenge to maintain. So all these different things are today, in my opinion, what makes the thing really interesting to move on. So let's move to see the setup process. I will accelerate that. So here we have the window about how we set up Windows Server in the preview version. Just for your reminder, you can download the preview version and test by yourself during 45 days for free. So Microsoft is providing today already the ISO of Windows Server 2022 in the same place where you could have the Windows Admin Center available for download. You can install Windows Admin Center on a computer. I highly recommend you to have a Windows Server that already had IIS installed, just to help you to manage the security setup regarding the console a bit better or much easier, let's say like that. So here I'm accelerating the process about the setup we can have here. Again, nothing new under the sun, as we could see. That's really simple stuff. Okay, here we go. Putting here my credentials, and here I am. We are inside Windows Server, so with no big changes except this Windows security stuff, where we can get some changes, some news about it. Okay, and what I should see also here is for security, we could get some nice interfaces. We're still having the server manager. So this is, let's say, a standard preview version, and nothing special here. Okay, as you can see, it's really the same stuff as we've got on the past. I think what is more interesting is when we install Admin Center. One thing maybe you could see here that is interesting inside the server is when we go in the role-based installation for the different modules and so on, we get some new features that could be added here on the roles, slight changes regarding the storage, as I say, so we can have this acceleration and compression that could be also proposed in that way for customers who need to want to connect with Windows 10 or future Windows 11 computers. So these are one of these slight changes we could get here. Okay, same thing here for the containers. We have now the containers integration to have the possibility to generate directly Windows Nano Server from Windows 2022. So it generates to you the sources you could use inside an Hyper-V. So building up Windows Nano Server inside Hyper-V as well. So as you can see, there is some of the security that's been made here. Some of the changes we've got as well inside the subsystem, also integrated now in Windows Server 2022 with the next release of support. So every time we start, we have from 29 this window, this advertisement saying, try Windows Admin Center, please. So here you have the eval center, so microsoft.com/en-us/eval center, and there you go, you can download for free the Admin Center, which I highly recommend you to test. You will see it's pretty nice. And then when you install that, just be sure you have an IIS already installed. It's a prerequisite, not fully described, but from my own experience, this is what I highly recommend you to have before to start the setup we see me on the screen. So we do the setup. Okay, welcome. Do you agree with the license? Yeah. Required diagnostic data. Yeah, we will have that. We could also require all the required and optional informations. Do you want to use Microsoft Update to update your own admin center? Yes. And then the default port is 443. Of course, you can change it, no problem. And then again, having IIS, that could help a lot, especially if you want to generate your own certificate to encrypt the traffic from your front end, your web front end here. So setup is done, and here is generating a link, which we can have access to the admin center. So you bring here your credentials, your login. It will be requested even if you are trying to connect remotely to your server, obviously. Here you go. And boom. So the 2003 is the latest release we've got today. There is a lot of different modules that could be installed over your console to improve the experience and giving you more services. As I said now, fully interesting point is we can get this integration with Azure. So we can also administrating some stuff across the Windows Admin Center regarding the resources we could have in the Azure Central Portal. So this is really interesting because now we could have, let's say, a single pane that can help us to do a lot of things, right? So if I go inside that, the first thing you will see is I have a lot of counters that comes here on the right side of the screen. So that gives you an overview about the processor usage, the memory usage, storage usage, whatever you want. And then comes here, and you can have that vision with all the triggers we could have using, of course, the metrics we could get as well from the monitoring on any kind of Microsoft Windows computer, right? But we got all these things here directly from the web. That's pretty useful. You can see here on the left pane, you have Azure Hybrid Center, Azure Kubernetes Services, Azure Backup. You see a lot of Azure stuff here, all right? So that means our on-prem servers can easily move from one side to another. We can do RDP across the web. So we have an HTML5 integration of RDP that helps a lot. So you can directly have access to your server GUI from that place, okay? Interesting as well, because if you have core editions, you can directly manage all the services you could get or install new services in core editions directly from the admin center. So it's really useful. And I strongly believe today this is the new way we should have to manage our servers. Of course, if we have a lot of resources, you can add tags, then saying these servers are for this kind of purpose or whatever, and easily and quickly find out in the list of all the different connections. One of my favorite steps I'm expecting to see here in the future are folders, to be able to place folders to classify our connections, being able to run remotely PowerShell or doing whatever we want. So the only thing you need here is to connect your Azure account, so registering your server, your Windows Admin Center with Azure, and then boom, you can directly interact with Azure services right inside your Windows Admin Center. So I think it's really a nice place to be, really nice stuff to see here. And that was my point regarding Windows Server 2022. Okay, so let's turn back to my online slides. Here we go. Yeah, some references. Again, for the people who are following that, I highly recommend to use Microsoft Mechanics. They are also showing a lot of this stuff I just showed to you today. So in case of here, you have the link. I remember, just for your reminder, that session is recorded, so we'll push the session later online. So you will have access to that as well for all the people who have been registered on that presentation. So now moving to another big announcement Microsoft made is Windows 365. People have been surprised because they said, all right, a new service inside Microsoft 365 family. What that means? I mean, that has been really surprising because, well, today we already have Azure, right? We're already using Azure. We already have virtual machines in Azure. Why do we want to have something new that could confuse the people? Well, it's really simple. In Azure, you need to administrate yourself, your resources. You have to administer the security. You have to administer the patching. Well, you need to have some knowledge and time to manage the infrastructure you get in the cloud to present desktops to your user. And the idea with Windows 365 is fully managed. So you don't have to do anything, just consume your desktop. That is all, period. So the good point is, on that approach, even if you have no experience at all, you can easily build up your own experience about VDI. So that makes personalized computer in the cloud. You can have your own PC in the cloud. Very simple, powerful, and secure because, yeah, we will use Azure Active Directory. You can get from Microsoft 365 to give access to these new resources, these new possibilities to the user. And you can stream that to any device. You have an RDP client. That means, okay, you can play with your Windows computer whatever you want. That's really easy. The good thing is a very strong integration with your local devices as well. So if you are using a terminal that is already compatible with RDP, then you can use your Cloud PC as well in a very simple and elegant way. So the idea is really to stream that, okay? And you don't have, like we could do in Azure, to calculate how much time I will spend on that. What kind of resources I need to place to have the right machine? This is maybe the only question you could get, because when you ask to have Windows 365, the only real question will be, what kind of setup do you need? What are the applications you will install on that? And based on such demand, you will receive the right configuration, and you apply that like a license, like you do with Office 365. You say, okay, you want these features, you want these possibilities, here you get the right license with the right package. Boom, voila. And when you have it, it will generate automatically your access to a virtual PC. So you just have to type windows365.microsoft.com, authenticate yourself. You will see the computer dedicated to you, click, and you can run it using RDP or even using a browser. This is really elegant. This is really nice to do. Any kind of user can use it at any time. So it's a flat rate consumption. It's not like we've got in Azure where you have to calculate or estimate what could be the cost of your infrastructure. This is flat rate consumption with all the technologies and all the support, meaning also the patching is embedded inside. When Windows 11 comes, you could have to migrate from Windows 10 to Windows 11 automatically. Microsoft will do that for you. So that means you don't have to think of, oh my God, how I will move my virtual PC to the new operating systems. Don't worry, Microsoft will do that for you. So you don't have to administrate the resources. And it's an always-on PC. So you don't need to stop it because, oh, it will consume too much on my resources. No, you can have it running 24 hours per day, full time. The only time that PC will be rebooting is when you have a patch to apply, when you have the standard security patching to apply. Then, of course, they will try to do that in your time frame, and they will analyze when you are most often online to say, okay, I can apply these patches at that time. You can control that, of course, saying, okay, this is when I want to be able to have my patching, or even advertising you saying, okay, this is the moment where you need to do the patching. So just clicking OK, accepting, one reboot, boom, very quickly back online. So this is really something interesting. As I said, you don't need any more to have a knowledge about administration here, because even some folks who have very basic knowledge about Microsoft 365 can easily have access to the possibility to build up these new PCs. Okay, so let's show you in a very quick video how we could see how it works with Windows 365.
This is a Cloud PC. And so is this. And this. And this. Now any device can be a Cloud PC with Windows 365. Hybrid work is here. With Windows in the cloud, embrace flexibility in how, when, and where you work. Streaming your personalized Windows experience from the Microsoft Cloud. Your Cloud PC is always current, so pick up where you left off. All your apps, content, and settings ready wherever your work takes you. Integrated management and security with everything in the cloud. Scale on demand to meet your needs with company-owned or personal devices. All one seamless experience that's just a few clicks to deploy. The world of work has changed, so we're changing how you get Windows. Streamed from the cloud to any device to unlock your business's full potential. Hybrid Windows for a hybrid world. Welcome to Windows 365.
So pretty nice. I like these videos. They are really nice and entertaining. Okay, let's move to a demo about Windows 365, how it works, how it is in real life. So let me show you now in a moment how we can use that in a very simple way, in a very elegant way. So as I said, we can use your cloud PC anywhere. So meaning you can really having that usage anywhere in the world with any kind of devices that could be connected. So just changing my sharing screen operation here. Here we go. And voila. So here I am on my Microsoft 365 admin console, and I go to purchase new services. And what's new featured here, as you can see, is Windows 365. So there is business and enterprise editions, which are slightly the same. The only difference is that the enterprise is directly available if you are using Endpoint Manager to generate the configurations. So here you can see if I take the business version, there is different sizing, different plan of pricing. Some people tell me, hey, they're pricey, but yeah, think again. If you have to do all the administration, put some licensing management, having some people who have the knowledge how to generate these computers, and so on, and you had everything, the pricing becomes much higher if you are in Azure or using other technologies like Citrix. Instead, here, you just generate your computer, choose and pick up the right configuration, you pay your license, and when it's done, you can just allow that new configuration to your user. So it's set, I have that license, and what I have to do now is just to go to my users, okay? I will search myself here. I'm adding my profile here on Microsoft 365, and just have to go to license. And here I can see all the license I've got. And here on the side, you will see Windows 365 Business with the configuration I picked up just before. I save the settings and apply that license to me. That means after a while, what I do is I just have to go to Windows 365 on Microsoft.com, and I will see that. In a moment, that will also appear in the list of apps in your tenant. That takes time, just the first time you are generating the computer. But when the computer is available, you will see that icon here, Windows 365. That happens to you in new pane. And here we can see setting up a cloud PC. Okay, so that means takes, depending the configuration, between 55 and 1 hour, 55 minutes between 1 hour. And then when it's ready, boom, you can rename the computer and you can change the different things, you can restart, whatever, okay? And you can even here download the remote access with the right subscription URL you can give, because yeah, you will register your computer as a subscription that is available inside your Windows computer, but in any kind of UDP connections. Or you can simply open it in a browser and you can redirect your local devices. Even you can transfer files between your current device to the cloud PC. Here we go. It will re-ask again for my credential, my password. I can use, of course, if I have FIDO2 or Windows LO devices, I could use these things as well to protect the access to my computer. And here we go. I have my Windows 10 computer. I already had Office 365 installed. All the clients are already there. I already installed my own software. I put up a lot of stuff here, and it works exactly like if I was sitting physically on these computers. I could have some slight changes about how to access to that using the browser. I could download the UDP file. I can activate an alternate editor, texting stuff if I have different keyboards layout. That could be automatically detected and used if I want to, right? So this is really nice in terms of access here, as you can see. We can resize the view. We can charge a new file, so uploading a new file. So maybe I could just show here, if I click there, that will happen as well here, my file explorer. And then I could go on that PC and I could go directly and download and pushing that to the download folder if I want. My OneDrive is automatically configured, and here I could see the drive of my virtual desktop device, so meaning which are the device I'm using to access to my remote computer. So my cloud PC here, just to see the properties, as you can see, we have a Xeon processor, not so bad, all right? 8 GB RAM, like I've said, and my 128 SSD drive here. By default, they are provisioning Windows 10 Enterprise 21H1, which are the latest release, actually, still being due. So here I have my Edge. I see all my different favorites are already put it there because synchronized with my account. And here I can have access to my services. Just let's test now. One of the things that are really interesting. During the launch of the product, Microsoft Mechanics shows a very tremendous bandwidth. And now real life bandwidth, just to show you the real life is. So I got more or less, as you can see, is going up and up and up and up. Yeah, more or less 1 gigabyte connections, or 1 gigabit, sorry, 1 gigabit connection. So pretty slightly good. This is shared connections. We've saw now the resources needs to be a little bit improved from Microsoft side because they was not expecting to have so tremendous success on this new service. They've generated 17 million new virtual machines just when the product has launched. In the moment we are doing the recording of that video, that was 2 weeks ago. That was a Monday 2 weeks ago. And they was completely stuck during the process of generating the cloud PCs. So I had to wait at least to do twice before I had my computer. Now it's working very fine, seamlessly. And as you can see, the interface is pretty simple. So Windows365.microsoft.com, this is the link you could use to have access from anywhere on that single pane. And then you can use your registering URL to have access then to your computer in any UDP client. So that is the demo about Microsoft 365. And now I'm done with what we've got here about that presentation. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much to everybody. I will stop the record right now.